So I want to start off this lesson today by talking about drawing a cylinder sitting on a table. So I've lightly drawn out a cylinder. I've chosen my light source. And the idea behind this is that as the light shines down, the lightest part of the cylinder is going to be the very top, which I've already drawn. And I'm going to just start over on this side and just gently shade this in. And as I move toward the center right here, I'm going to get lighter very quickly because the light is shining down. So actually there's going to be a highlight here and a highlight here. And actually this part right here is going to be very light, and so it's not until I move over on this side that I'm going to start to get dark again. So I'm not really too concerned about the direction my pencil goes in either when I do this. And as I move this way, I come over to the shadow core. This is the darkest part of the cylinder. I'm going to go ahead and shade that in. And actually it's not going to be the darkest part of my drawing. It's just the darkest part of the cylinder. But I don't want that to be so abrupt, so I'm going to come back with a little bit of color pencil and just kind of shade this over a little bit more on this side. Smooth that out. Smooth that out. I really don't like it when I just have an edge that shouldn't be there. And of course, as I come over here, I'm just going to lightly put that in. So I still have my highlight, making sure this is as consistent as possible as I go up and down. And then as I move over here, this is not going to be as light as the highlight, but I do have a sense of reflected light. So right there, I'm going to get a little reflected light, and then at the very edge, it's going to get a little dark again. So there's my reflected light. And down at the bottom, this is the part of my cylinder that meets the table or the surface that I'm sitting on. And then the rest of this is the shadow. And this won't be as dark as the part of the cylinder that's sitting directly on the table, but it's pretty dark over here. And then as I move out this way, I find that I have pretty much a consistent kind of gray shadow that moves out. And I'll take this and clean it up. So I think I could do a little bit more with this because I still have the background here. So I really want to show this edge, and usually things don't have an outline, so I'm going to add a background behind this. And that really makes that surface pop, and it gets rid of that line too, which is great. And I have to be careful because over here now, if I make this the same value, that's going to not stand out. So I have to make sure that this background value, whatever it is just a little bit darker, or a lot darker, depending on what you're doing, than the actual cylinder sitting on the table. And I'm just going to keep going for a second here. Shade that in. And I just screwed up. I just realized because I forgot to add a table surface. So there's my table surface. So now, you know what, because I messed up, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this nice and dark right here. What I find with value is it's all relative. If you make something dark and there's something else next to it, the thing that's next to it just has to be made lighter. That's the simple and easy solution. So I now have this table surface here, and if that's going to be this value right here, then what that means is if I want that shadow to look darker, well, then I make it darker. So I'm going to come back in now and make that shadow look darker. Make this really dark right here, and then shade that out, and that solves my problem. So there is my cylinder sitting on a table. You know, and I could probably spend a good another 10 minutes or so just kind of smoothing everything out, but that gives me a pretty basic idea of what I have. So let's just quickly review. This is the table surface. This is the shadow right here. This is the shadow core, which is the darkest part of the area, and that's where the least amount of light is hitting it. This is the highlight. This is the reflected light, because what's happening is the light is coming down, bouncing off the table, and hitting this spot right here. And of course, this is also a highlight up here. And that's how you make a sphere, or rather a cylinder, sitting on a table.